Hello everyone, this is the defensive line video, the rankings I told you guys we're going to be making. I'm just now finally recording it. I got a little busy, sorry about that. Um, I think this was a pretty good one to make. A lot of the D-lines were very close and hard to rank. I have a question for you guys at the end of the video, so stick around. It involves one of the two videos I'm going to make tomorrow. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Coming in at number 12, we have J-Bay. Now, J-Bay has Sam Kamara, who's not even on a team. He has how do you even say that guy's name? Ryder Anderson, who's not even on a team. He has Justin Ellis, who's not even on a team. And the one guy who actually is on a team that potentially could have accidentally got points for him this year is, of course, the best name ever, Ifedi Odenigbo, who's sitting on IR, so he can't do anything anyway. Mosto, no matter what you do here, your defensive line is getting 0 points. Congratulations, bud. Coming in at number 11, we have Booty Basher. Booty Basher does have Aaron Donald, who I think might do better than the projections are saying this year. Although that's about as far as the good goes. At least you have a second defensive lineman as well in Charles Harris. Although he's not really going to do too much for you. Only 38 points last season. Projected 81. He'll probably get less. Overall, at least you have Donald. That's about the best I can say about this team with the D-line. Coming in at number 10, I have MILF. There's only 3 things that are sure in this life: death, taxes, and that MILF is going to finish bottom 3 in something. And here he is at the D-line video, going back to back. He has Yannick Ngakoue, Willie Goulston, Quentin Jefferson, Lawrence Guy, and Marcus Davenport. The only reason I have him ranked above Booty is because he has 3 different guys, actually 4 different guys that can actually score at the D-line. And Yannick Ngakoue almost put up as many points as Aaron Donald alone last year. And ignore that projection. Yannick Ngakoue is actually going to be starting for the Bears. It's just a matter of how good he does. Overall, that's the only reason you're ranked above Booty, is that you have multiple guys that can score points. Coming in at number 9, we have Rick Tatership. Now, if this was real life, I would rank your defensive lineman way higher, but this is fantasy. He has DeMarcus Lawrence and Dexter Lawrence. Now, these guys are, they're okay for fantasy options if you really need them off free agency, but that's about the best I can give them. Usually most of the sacks in Dallas are going to Micah Parsons and Dexter Lawrence. Even though he's one of the best defensive tackles in the league, he's usually getting double, triple teamed, so he can't put up many fantasy stats. That's about it. You only have those two, and I can't really rank them any higher than this. Pretty much everyone above you has some pretty good guys. Everyone else except for the top 2 are close to each other. Coming in at number 8, we have Scrambled and Wiggle Waggled. Scrambled and Wiggle Waggled has Daron Payne, Greg Rousseau, and Raheem Green. Greg Rousseau, I think, is going to do about as good as he did last year, maybe a bit better because he's going to be playing without dealing with an injury, hopefully. On the contrary, I think Daron Payne's going to do worse. He's playing at a T-tackle with Chase Young coming back. I think that's just another person who's going to be taking away his sacks. So I don't think he'll do as good as he did last year. And Rasheem Green is adding absolutely nothing to your team. He's not even a starter. You can probably just cut him for pocket change at this point, extra bench spot if I were you. Coming in at number 7, here's where we're getting to the OKD lines. We got Big Yawners. Big Yawners has Javon Hargrave and Sam Hubbard. It's very hard to say how Javon Hargrave will do. I think he'll do okay, but nothing crazy. I think he'll do really good if Nick Bosa remains out. We'll talk about him later on. But if Nick Bosa comes back, I don't see Hargrave doing that much. He might be okay. And then Sam Hubbard, even though he's ranked one of the lowest defensive linemen in the league, I think people forget how good he did back when Trey Hendrickson was playing on the other side of him. Whenever they're both there, Sam Hubbard actually was one of the highest scoring defensive linemen in the league. So I think you have a lot of upside there. But overall, I can't place you any higher than 7 for now. Coming in at number 6, we have Karen's husband, who has Leonard Williams, Christian Wilkins, and Henry Mondo. Christian Wilkins is an elite option, one of the best defensive lineman options you can have in fantasy. He's been consistent for the past couple years. I don't see much slowing him down other than potential injuries. Leonard Williams is always a safe bet at D-line. With that being said, that's exactly what he is a safe bet. He rarely will actually put up big numbers or anything like that. He'll usually just put up a good 10 points per week or so. He'll give you a consistent amount, which is why you're at about 6. Most of these teams above you have multiple really good guys that put them just a little bit higher. And then Mundo is really doing nothing for you. He's not even on a team right now. Same situation with Evan. You may as well just cut this guy. Coming in at number 5, we have Mr. Steeler Girl, who has Cam Jordan and DeForest Buckner. These are two players that are probably going to score around 200 points in comparison. The elite guy, not Brandon had, the last guy had, would probably score around 230 or so. So these guys are both very good on their own. They're a little bit worse than him, but both of them together are just way better than the other guy he had. And overall, it's a very good D-line and very well-rounded, which is why I have you at 5. Coming in at number 4, we have PMC Wagner. Now, I love Quentin Williams. He's another one of those elite defensive tackles who might be one of the best D-linemen in the league to have in fantasy, right? But I don't know who the hell this Granderson is. I've never heard of him in my life. I saw his stats were okay, but overall I can't really rank it too high. I know that you have Chris Jones down there. Depending on when he plays, it could make or break this list. You could jump up a few spots, or if he doesn't play at all this season, you'll probably drop lower. If he plays, yeah, he's a second elite option for D-line in fantasy. But for now, it's looking like you're probably going to be waiting at least half the season to get him, but it's hard to say for sure. So overall, I don't think I can place you any higher than 4 until he comes back. But remember, we are making more list videos later on in the season, which you might be able to climb up by then. Coming in at number 3, I got myself Aiden Hutchinson and Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward's one of the best defensive linemen in the league. He's just like Quentin Williams, Christian Wilkins when it comes to D-tackle. They're both very good at being D-linemen, especially with TJ Watt coming back. I think Hayward will do even better. Aiden Hutchinson was a rookie last year. This year he's going to be going into his second season. I think he's going to do really good. But that's just kind of off of more of a hunch overall, because usually it's the second-year D-linemen that do really good more than the first-year ones. But overall, I think he'll do really good. He's known for being a good edge rusher. He can actually do pass coverage plays. He can do pretty much everything. I think he'll be a great fantasy player this year. Coming in at number 2, and this might be a shocker, but for the same reason as PMC Wagner, I got Pussy, who has Max Crosby, Nick Bosa, and Kwity Paye. Now, for the same reason as Chris Jones, I don't think I can rank you quite at number 1, not yet, until we know what the hell's going on with Nick Bosa. But the very split second I hear that he's putting on a pair of cleats, you're going to be number 1 on this list, and it's not even going to be close. But the difference between you and PMC, and the reason I have you ranked 2 spots higher, is because your backup, Kwity Paye, actually is a very good backup to have. Probably, he when he can stay healthy, he puts up some of the best numbers for D linemen in the entire league pretty consistently. So I think he'll be pretty good for you throughout the season. He'll hold you over as it is. And even without Nick Bosa and having Kwity Paye in his place, Max Crosby alone would put you in the top 4 on this list pretty easily. You could use Evan as your other defensive lineman. You'd probably still crack the top 3, to be honest. But overall, it's a very good D-line. It's not even going to be close if Bosa comes back soon. Coming in at number 1, I have Toxic Zenpai. Toxic Zenpai is now back-to-back on first places. He was really doing good with his defenses this year. He has Brian Burns, Myles Garrett, and Chase Young. Myles Garrett and Brian Burns are 2 elite options. Put it this way, basically, Pussy has number 1 and 2 in terms of projected in last year's scoring. Toxic pretty much has 3 and 4. So it's that close. The only thing is Toxic's guys are confirmed to be playing right now, and obviously Pussy's aren't. But also, Toxic does have a very good backup defensive lineman, even though he's only projected 6 points. He probably will do a lot better than that this year. He'll probably get a lot more points than that. He's a very good backup defensive lineman. Overall, Toxic has the safest and best D-line as of now. But like I said, the minute Nick Bosa comes back, the minute Chris Jones comes back, Toxic, you're probably going to fall on this list a bit. I do have something I wanted to talk to you guys about. As you know, there's only one position to cover left, and that's linebackers. So tomorrow, I'm still going to make a second video, and then after that, the Thursday night game is going to kick off. So I was thinking of an idea of a second video I could make. What do you guys think about this? Put your guys, if you guys have any like questions or recommendations on what to do for your rosters, for example, say I don't know if I should start Shaquille Leonard or Zaire Franklin in this example, my linebackers. If you have a situation like that where you don't know who you'd rather start, send it in the clash or in the chat for our fantasy league. Message me on YouTube, message me over phone, whatever, and I'll make a video tomorrow after the linebacker one answering what my recommendations would be for it. All right, I'll catch you guys tomorrow.